As we're standing there staring at this black doorway into other dimensions. Side note here, I would have loved to have jumped in just to see where it went. My guide suggested that was a very bad idea. So I didn't do that, but I couldn't see into it. It was like looking into a black puddle of ink. There was no light that came out of it. There was no movement. It was like looking into a complete void. There was no light in it at all. In fact, I think if I'd seen it in the dark, it would have been darker than dark, which makes no sense at all. The bushy-haired man, I can sense, is still around. What was interesting, though, that I realized he wasn't in the house. He was kind of off to the right side of the house. It felt like frenetic energy. So think of the Flash. Like literally, he was in the blink of an eye, could travel at high speeds, almost instantaneously by just watching him move. I would have imagined that being around that energy would have been incredibly stressful on a long enough timeline. The constant motion, that's why the weird light flickering, the baby thing being shaken really hard. I don't even know if he was doing it quickly or if it was just his natural motion, but he was impossible to be around. We're standing there looking at this hole. I'm immediately not sure how we're going to do this. So what had happened was, because the hole was so big, it took up the entire closet. It was like the closet wasn't even anchored in our reality. For a moment, I wondered if the closet even existed in our reality. I asked my guide, and he said yes, that the closet was physically present. It wasn't representative of like an entryway to this, because remember, in journey meditations, I don't always see things exactly as they are. I might see them how they look in other realities. I might see them how they looked a long time ago. It just depends. And I have no way of knowing that until I talk to the client. So when people ask me, do you see the floor plan of my house? Oftentimes, yeah, specifically so that I can pinpoint to the client where this might be located. So I asked my guide, where do we start? So knowing from past experience that we can't remove these, we can't remove them. We can often cover them and make them inaccessible. So at least brings down the level of activity for the person in the home. This is going to sound crazy. This is going to be a long string of crazy things. So I'm just going to try to say it one time. This whole next part is going to sound nuts. He says we need to cover it in like a net of protection and then anchor that in our reality. I'm going to insert, yes, I know this sounds stupid. He opens his hand. It looks like they almost look like railroad spikes, except they're not made with iron or whatever metal they used to be made of. I think they used to be made of iron. They're made of some kind of rock. I know that they're a crystal, but it's not a crystal I've ever seen before. They almost look metallic, but they're not metal. They're rock. And he's showing me that we're essentially throwing this net of protection over that entire thing, like a tent, and then nailing it using these very specific types of crystal into our reality. So we're not anchoring it into the floor, we're anchoring it into ordinary reality, which is the shamanic explanation for the reality that we all share. Meanwhile, the bushy-haired man is just going nuts. He's all over. He keeps running right at us. And my guide throws up like a wall that he can't interfere, because it's taking all of our combined effort to get this to stay in our reality. Normally, journeys, maybe start to finish, take 20 minutes. You can get a lot of work done in that amount of time. Time's a little bit different there. We were at just this part for probably 40, just trying to get it where there were no more cracks of black showing through. As soon as we finished nailing all of that down, I look up and I can now see the walls of the closet, the walls and the ceiling. I can see that we're inside or sitting right outside of the closet, but the walls aren't solid yet. The walls are shimmery, so that means that we aren't fully in our reality. I suggest that we cover all of it, the whole bottom of the floor, with some kind of a sealant. I don't know what it was. As soon as we get that laid down, it hardens almost instantly. I look up and the walls are solid now. I can see that we're standing in an actual solid closet in our dimension. Then we had to deal with the bushy-haired man.